A very warm greeting to everyone present here and welcome back to Cricket Analysis by CNE. This is a very impactful day indeed. I have a powerful panel in front of me. New addition, Siddesh Shah here. Uh, just introducing him. He is a avid CSK star. एक पूरा CSK के बारे में फैन है बहुत और ही इज पैशनेट अबाउट क्रिकेट. हम लोग के साथ बहुत अगर तुम हम लोग का इंस्टाग्राम में फैन में फॉलो करते हो तो यू विल सी दैट सिद्धेश इज फीचर्ड इन ऑलमोस्ट ऑल ऑफ आवर स्टोरीज. So, pleasure to have you here, Siddesh. How are you feeling?
Feeling very good, yeah. Nice to interact with both of the knowledge hubs of cricket. Really good, really good. Thank you for including me in this meeting. Thank
No problem at all. Thank you for coming. Proneet, I have a lot of things to say to you. बहुत कुछ बातें करना बाकी है. रील में बहुत कुछ बातें किए हैं हम लोग, पर लॉन्ग वीडियो में भी बहुत कुछ बातें चर्चे बाकी है हम लोग का. ऑक्शन धमाल हुआ है एंड स्पेशली आफ्टर द फर्स्ट राउंड एक्सीलरेटेड राउंड में बहुत सरप्राइजेस भी आए हैं. तो दिस इज सम ऑक्शन दिस वाज, क्योंकि आई डिडंट एक्सपेक्ट दिस विल गो दिस वे. हम लोग वी हैव प्रेडिक्टेड बिफोरहैंड कि some players will target these players, some teams will target these kind of talents, etc., etc. But I had no idea it would go this way, and that's why we have a mini series again. Two videos. We'll do five teams here, five teams next video, and we are going to start with specifically the team in big crosshairs, CSK. CSK has had a big change in their ideology, in their thought process. Siddesh, I think you know better than me that CSK has been a lineup जहाँ पे they have been known as the daddy players. I think at one point of time everybody in the squad had a child. अभी यहाँ पे you have college playboys, वो लोग का गर्लफ्रेंड भी नहीं हो रहा है. तो what do you think about this ideology change in CSK? Do you think it will be मतलब अच्छा होगा इनके लिए?
you. You won't mind speaking in Hindi, right?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
अच्छा. देखो, जैसा मैंने देखा है स्क्वाड को, तो हाँ, तूने जो मेंशन किया वो ड्रास्टिक चेंज जो हुआ है उनके आइडियोलॉजी में, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर है सीएसके के लिए. क्योंकि आई मस्ट से पिछला सीजन वाज द वर्स्ट सीजन फॉर सीएसके थ्रू दिस होल 18 years which CSK has played. क्योंकि उसके पहले द मोस्ट वर्स्ट पोजीशन which they have been was the second last position if I am not wrong. तो पिछला साल जो, आई थिंक पिछले साल की गलती से आई थिंक दे आर लर्निंग कि उनको क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना है. तो उनके आइडियोलॉजी में ये ड्रिफ्ट चेंज जो आया है उसको आपको समझना जरूरी है. पहला बात जो है, जब सीएसके जब वन ऑफ द मतलब मोस्ट टैलेंटेड प्लेयर्स को लेता था, तो उनका जो आइडियोलॉजी था वो कैसे चलता था, जैसे कि अगर आप प्लेयर्स को ले रहे हैं आप उनके एक्सपीरियंस के बेसिस पे लें.
Hmm.
वो क्या कर सकते हैं आप उनके बेसिस पे आप रखिए, लेकिन वो जब टीम पे आते हैं तब आप वो बेसिस स्टार्ट करिए. उसके पहले जो वो प्लेयर कर चुके हैं थ्रू आउट द T20 या जो भी ओडीआई में परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं, आप उन प्लेयर्स को पहले लीजिए लीजिए और उनको बस सिंपल बात बोलिए कि अब आप लोग को परफॉर्म करना है. उसके अंदर ज्यादा हम लोग इधर उधर खेलेंगे कूदेंगे नहीं, जितना मेरा मतलब एनालिसिस है. और काफी रिजल्ट्स भी अच्छे आए हैं. यू कैन सी 2008 में दे प्लेड द फाइनल्स. 2009 आई थिंक दे प्लेड द फाइनल्स
At
इफ आई एम
10,
नॉट
10
रॉन्ग.
and 11. I think they missed out on
हाँ, 10
9.
11 12 एंड 13 इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग.
10 10
तो
11 हाँ
बहुत
हाँ
10 11
हाँ
12 एंड 13.
हाँ हाँ
या,
हाँ
तो फॉर द
Continue. Yeah.
फर्स्ट 6 सीजन्स इफ वी सी वेरी केयरफुली, पहले 6 सीजन में 5 फाइनल तो सीएसके नहीं खेला है. इस बेसिस पे
Yes.
नहीं कि सिर्फ महेंद्र सिंह धोनी कैप्टन थे, ऑफ कोर्स दैट्स वन ऑफ द रीजंस आल्सो, बट द सेकंड थिंग इज दैट कि आपको समझना ये जरूरी है कि उनके प्लेयर्स में आप जैसे देख सकते थे उस समय के प्लेयर्स में जडेजा नहीं थे, अश्विन भी नहीं थे, लेकिन तब भी पहला आईपीएल सीजन में उन्होंने तब भी फाइनल खेला है. ये कारण इसलिए क्योंकि उन्होंने बाकी सब जो एक्सपीरियंस प्लेयर थे उन्होंने लिया है टीम में. उस समय एक्चुअली उतने एक्सपीरियंस नहीं थे, धोनी को छोड़ के बाकी सबको लिया गया है थोड़ा सा चांस देने के लिए. जैसे कि आपके फॉरगेटिंग हिज नेम यार, जब भी कोई खेलता नहीं यार भूल जाता हूँ कौन खेल रहा है.
नहीं, बहुत सारे प्लेयर्स नहीं थे. लाइक एज यू सेड कि यहाँ पे बहुत
हाँ.
दे
और
डिडंट ऑफ कोर्स फर्स्ट एडिशन ऑफ आईपीएल इट वाज न्यू. They didn't know what the time, how, what was the direction for IPL basically. And now they have ended up in
हाँ
kind of a same position जहाँ पे वो लोग back to square one हो गए. MS Dhoni is still constant. He's still here. I think perhaps his last season, if I'm not offending you,
या
Siddesh,
वेरी
but
सॉरी
perhaps
टू
his
हियर
last
दैट या
season.
बट
हाँ हाँ
I,
हाँ.
we
But
can
Siddesh
never
का
sure of Dhoni's last season.
अब प्रोनीत का नेट
तो
चला चुका है
मेरा
वापस. इसका इसका चलता रहेगा, इसका चिंता नहीं है. बट सी, एज आई वाज सेइंग कि सीएसके हैव अ कंप्लीट आइडियोलॉजिकल शिफ्ट. वो लोग दे स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम 2008, बट फ्रॉम 2010 टू 11 बहुत आया था इनके मतलब बहुत आया था एक्सपीरियंस एटसेट्रा, एंड देन दे बिल्ड अ स्क्वाड वेयर फ्रॉम देयर. हियर दो, आई एम गोना टॉक अबाउट two players who went over 14 crores. Proneet, I haven't heard of these players in my personal experience, and I haven't even when I Google searched, you haven't had a lot to go on with. CSK have invested 28 crores out of the 41 on this. We mentioned in our pre-auction video that they would need a middle order batsman, at least one, and one bowler. Do you think they have shopped adequately, or do you think they have shopped too much on just young talents?
I mean, it's definitely they have shopped too much on young players because this is not the way CSK goes about in their auction, because we have always seen CSK being a stable team at the auction table. So they never experimented much. They always believed in going for experience more rather than going for young talents. They had a few talents in the mix. They had a few talents in the mix, but they mostly went for the experience. So in this auction, they completely turned everything around, and that is what led them to investing in on two youngsters, two completely unknown youngsters for 28 crores. This is, I feel, they could have gone for other options as well. They had many options in this whole auction. So I think they could have invested in other players. But yeah, this is a huge risk, because the last two seasons probably were one of the worst seasons of CSK. So that is coming into the third season now. They are again risking it. They are putting in high risks now. I don't know what kind of thinking the management is doing, but huge risk out there for CSK.
And do you think कि मतलब this is too drastic of an ideological change, especially in mini auction के समय में? Because you see that कि experienced players के साथ जा रहे हैं. They thought that they could have taken like someone like Ravi Bishnoi, or they could have gotten a good pacer or a good middle order batsman for the package of money that they had behind them. At least one or two, if not more. So do you think that in a mini auction this is too risky of a move, and do you think it will not work, or do you think that maybe it is like ठीक है चलेगा, CSK might go on to some place?
I mean, it's kind of like, I would say, uh, as they have invested so much on these two players, they need to be some kind of, some huge extraordinary talents. Like, I have no idea about them at this point. So they have to be some huge extraordinary talents, and some, kind of a Hardik Pandya level players, Jasprit Bumrah level players who emerged out of nowhere in the Mumbai factory, and like that, CSK are trying to build something like that. And if these two players have that much kind of a potential that they went for, these two are the highest uncapped players in auction, IPL auction history. So I think they are some serious talents, and if they fail to perform, I think CSK are done for in this season. If they fail to perform, CSK are done for, I think.
Yeah, let's go on to the prediction. I think like I don't see mere vision mein. I don't see that CSK are going anywhere near playoffs this season or in the next season, as I see, because mini auction mein getting your team to change completely into a dominant team is not easy. You need some luck behind you, of course, but you need some proper planning. You need experience and youngsters का balance चाहिए. यहाँ पे you see that in the finishing point of view, you go on to the playing 11, but in the finishing point of view, there is inexperience. Dhoni is there, but how long will Dhoni be there? Dhoni will be there for 2 3 overs. So that is the big question mark I have for them, and that's why I don't, in comparison to other teams on paper. Of course, we have no idea about execution. We never predict in terms of execution. कुछ भी हो सकता है. But on paper, compared to other teams, they look like they'll still end up in the bottom four ranking, in my opinion. So they'll come at like seventh, eighth, ninth, at best case six आ जाए, or like they had a good 2 3 matches in string, then they come on to that kind of position, right? तो वहां पे कैसे आते हैं वो लोग वो देखना पड़ेगा, but I don't think they'll go on. एंड मेक इट टू द प्लेऑफ्स, लेट अलोन द ट्रॉफी। तो वो मेरे मेरे थॉट प्रोसेस में ये है। सो आई प्रेडिक्ट कि हम तीन, आई थिंक बिलो बॉटम फोर में आएंगे, इफ नॉट फिफ्थ और सिक्स्थ। दैट इज व्हाट माय ओपिनियन इज। बट now we go on to the playing 11. Let's look at the playing 11. At this point, let's like we have formed a playing 11 already beforehand, before this video. तो देख लेते हैं कैसे playing 11 दिखता है हम लोगों का। तो पहले मैं see this is a, of course CSK made a very good trade of getting Sanju Samson in. It is a major boost to the top order, and you know that CSK will have a very good batting side. Batting side, they'll have top four, top five, a very good batsman. I'm very impressed with the kind of batsman they have on the top. But the question lies on number six, number seven. So Sanju Samson opens. He's likely the captain, or it will be Gaikwad. Sorry, Gaikwad will continue. So Gaikwad will continue as captain. Samson is likely wicketkeeper. Mahatre is there as opener. Gaikwad third. Number three. Number four is Deval Brevis. Number five, Shivam Dube. Now from there, you don't have a Jadeja with you. It's Prashant Veer and Karthik Sharma. Two unknown players coming in, two death overs, and against top bowlers. You need some kind of batting, some extraordinary batting to in Chennai to get over those kind of bowlers. And then comes MS Dhoni as number eight, or he can come as a floater, I guess. No, death overs may anywhere you can come. Then Akil Hussain. Proneet, you told me, no, before we continue, you told me about Akil Hussain. How he is as a good spinner. Do you feel like in Chennai pitches he'll do well?
Akil Akil Hussain for just the base price of 2 crores and is an absolute steal from CSK. They that was probably their best buy in this whole auction, because Akil Hussain right now in World T20 eyes is probably one of the best spinners out there, and he has been very consistent over the past year or so. And in the West Indies side, we have seen how badly they have been playing. I think in the bowling department, we have seen how good their fast bowlers have done. But in the spin department, it is Akil Hussain, the only one who has been stringing the West Indies together. So I think it's a huge buy and huge benefit for CSK. In the Chepauk pitch, Akil Hussain will be really beneficial for CSK and can prove to be a huge match winner for them in this. MVP, my predicted MVP for CSK in this season is Akil Hussain.
Right, and that increases their good spinning attack as well. They have Akil Hossain, they have Noor Ahmed, who has been in the condition for orange, sorry, not orange cap, purple cap last year. Then Khalil Ahmed and Nathan Ellis. So you can see that Siddesh, you can see that Yalanka bowling attack is very settled. That they have a very good bowling attack. They can get wickets on Chepauk. Batting on top is also good. Middle is where they are weak. So यहाँ पे मेरा just final question before we head on to the ratings. My only case here is that if you see Karthik Sharma and Prashant Veer performing, do you feel like CSK can really get to playoffs at all? मतलब वहां पे आ सकते हैं, like can they get near it at all? वहां पे कोई competition दे सकते हैं?
एक्चुअली अगर आप ठीक से देखें तो कार्तिक शर्मा के ऊपर मैं काफी एक्सटेंसिवली मैं उसका स्टैटस देख रहा था कि कैसा उसका परफॉर्मेंस हुआ है। तो वो बहुत अर्ली प्लेयर है। मैंने उसका देखा कि कब उसने डेब्यू किया है, तो 2024 में उसने अपना डेब्यू स्टार्ट किया है। विच मीन्स इट्स
हाँ,
टू अर्ली। मतलब अगर मैं कोई अभी डिसीजन लूंगा तो गलत से ज्यादा तो मैं अनफेयर डिसीजन ले रहा हूँ उसके ऊपर।
right.
ठीक है। अब अगर आप ये बात करें कि सीएसके बहुत बड़ा दांव खेल रहा है कार्तिक शर्मा के ऊपर,
Yeah.
अनडाउटेडली यस, ऑफ कोर्स
Hmm.
खेलेगा। लेकिन आपको ये भी समझना पड़ेगा कि पिछले साल सीएसके लास्ट नहीं आया है सिर्फ।
Hmm.
पिछले साल सीएसके का फोर्ट्रेस टूटा है जो चेपॉक में था।
Right, right,
बहुत
exactly.
सारी टीम्स आके
तो
वो
अल्फ्रेड वहां पे बैठा हुआ है, सर वहां पे
ब्री
प्रोनीत बैठा हुआ है, आरसीबी फैन, आरसीबी किया था ये। तो
नहीं नहीं
वही
मीन्स
उसको ही
इन द
ब्लेम करो, उसके
नो
पीछे
इन द
जाओ।
क्रिकेट, नहीं इन द नहीं नहीं इन द क्रिकेटिंग स्पिरिट। मतलब देखिए, फोर्ट्रेस अगर टूटेगा तभी तो नए नए नाम आएंगे, तभी तो नए नए टाइटल्स बनेंगे। आई कॉन्ग्रेचुलेट
हाँ,
हिम फॉर दैट, नो
as
डाउट नो
Pronit
डाउट।
से as Pronit
लेकिन
says, weak men create strong characters. वहां से आएगा अभी गौतम गंभीर के नाम पे।
गौतम गंभीर का प्लीज नाम
मैंने
मत
मैंने
लीजिए,
नाम नहीं
वापस
लिया।
टोनी शुरू हो जाएगा।
मैंने
देखिए
नाम
मैंने
नहीं लिया।
बोला
हाँ
जैसे
ठीक
तूने
है
नाम
ठीक है,
लिया
मैं
जैसे
नाम ले
यार।
रहा हूँ।
नेक्स्ट टाइम मुझे मत बोलना। नेक्स्ट टाइम मुझे मत बोलना।
हाँ, पक्का
चलिए
पक्का
आगे
पक्का।
बढ़ते हुए तो
हाँ
मैं कहना
हाँ।
चाहूंगा कि देखिए, अगर आप काफी देखेंगे तो इसने शुरू किया है 2024 में, और राजस्थान वर्सेस बिहार में, सौराष्ट्र में ये मैच हुआ था।
हम्म,
और अभी तक उसका अगर मैं पूरा ओवरव्यू देखूंगा ठीक से, बहुत मैं ब्रीफली बता रहा हूँ, तो इसने फर्स्ट क्लास क्रिकेट में 479 रन किए हैं, एवरेज है 43 का। कुछ
हाँ।
ज्यादा खराब भी नहीं है और ज्यादा कुछ ऊंचा भी अभी तक नहीं हुआ है। इन T20 में इसका हाईएस्ट स्कोर गया 58, एवरेज 30 है, तो काफी कम है प्लेयर है।
ये
लेकिन मैं
रिस्क
ये
है।
भी कहना चाहूंगा कि रिस्क से ही थोड़ा सा इनोवेशंस
इश्क
बनते
है।
हैं या आपके नए नए प्लेयर्स बनते हैं। तो आई थिंक ये रिस्क है। और लेकिन ये रिस्क का रिवॉर्ड आई थिंक सीएसके को मिलने का अच्छा खासा चांस है, अगर इसे थोड़ा सा गाइड और हैंडल किया जाए तो। कमिंग बैक टू प्रशांत वीर, प्रशांत वीर के बारे में मैं इससे और ज्यादा अनश्योर हूँ, अनफॉर्चुनेटली, क्योंकि ये तो और भी अर्ली स्टार्ट किए हैं। तो इनके और भी ज्यादा लेट स्टार्ट किया, तो इनके ऊपर तो बोलना तो मतलब और भी मतलब जायज नहीं बनता है। लेकिन इनका बॉलिंग मैंने जितना देखा है ठीक ठाक हुआ है, मतलब मैं ज्यादा नहीं बोलूंगा। इन्हें ज्यादा बॉल्स भी नहीं खिलाया, मतलब इनको ज्यादा मैच भी नहीं खिलाया गया है। तो अंत में बोलूंगा कि सीएसके इन दोनों को लेके 28.4 करोड़ दे के इन दोनों को, तो ये ना कुछ गलत कर रही है ज्यादा, ना कुछ सही कर रही है। देखिए, ये अपना फोर्ट्रेस बिल्ड कर रही है, जो काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है सीएसके के लिए, क्योंकि उसी फोर्ट्रेस पे सीएसके हमेशा प्लेऑफ्स में आई है। पहले 6 साल में 5 साल फाइनल डोमिनेट की है उसी फोर्ट्रेस के ऊपर। तो अगर सीएसके ये सोच रही है कि इन दोनों प्लेयर्स को लेके और बाकी सब जो भी बेस बेस प्राइस में बाकी सब जो प्लेयर्स लिए गए हैं, उनको सोच के अगर सीएसके सोच रही है कि इससे हम लोग का फोर्ट्रेस वापस बन सकता है, तो आई थिंक इट्स अ वेरी गुड डिसीजन, बिकॉज फोर्ट्रेस बनाना बहुत जरूरी है सीएसके को।
इट
और
विल बी अ
वो
स्लो
बन जाएगा तो
प्रोसेस।
ऑटोमेटिकली,
हाँ।
हाँ, इट्स अ वेरी स्लो
वो
प्रोसेस, बट अगर बन जाएगा तो फिर जीतना मतलब इट विल अगेन बी लाइक द स्टार्टिंग ऑफ द सीजन। पहले 6 सीजन आप
राइट
खेलेंगे, 5 सीजन तो आईपीएल फाइनली सीएसके खेल रही है।
राइट राइट। तो
तो
या
वही
इट विल
बात है।
बी, आई थिंक इट विल बी अ स्लो प्रोसेस एट द एंड ऑफ द डे कि
CSK
वहां
is
से।
trying to do a uh,
हाँ, बोलो बोलो सर।
CSK, I think CSK is trying to do a KKR. CSK is trying to do a KKR here. Like they are building their squad until the next mega auction, and they perform on the last season before the mega auction, and then suddenly everything gets crumbled up, something like
आई
that.
डोंट थिंक इट विल टेक 10 years, आई डोंट थिंक इट विल टेक 10 years, इट विल टेक टाइम ऑफ
हाँ।
कोर्स, बट आई डोंट थिंक इट विल टेक
अरे
10 years।
10 years नहीं भाई,
टेनिस, अरे मेगा
10
ऑप्शन
years
3 साल का
नहीं,
बात कर रहा है वो,
टेन
बट
years
या
नहीं, नेक्स्ट
आई
मेगा
आई गेट योर
नहीं
ऑक्शन।
नहीं,
पॉइंट।
जितना केकेआर को 30 ट्रॉफी जीतने में लगा है उतना साल
हाँ
नहीं
वो तो
लगेगा।
अलग बात है, बट दैट इज
अरे
टू डिफरेंट इश्यूज। लेट्स कंटिन्यू। लेट्स
ना,
कंटिन्यू
उससे ज्यादा
सी।
लगेगा,
हाँ
उससे
बट
ज्यादा लगेगा।
सी, इंडियन डोमेस्टिक तो बहुत ट्रस्ट किया
दूसरे
सीएसके,
वीडियो
एंड
पर
आई
मिल।
इट विल टेक टाइम टू गेट देम इनटू ग्रूमिंग। बट स्टिल आईपीएल अभी जितना दिस ईयर जितना अभी, आई थिंक इट्स अ वेरी, आई थिंक इट विल बी अ कंप्लीट मिरेकल इफ दे विन इट, दैट्स व्हाट आई एम थिंकिंग। सो लेट्स गो ऑन टू द रेटिंग्स नाउ। बहुत बातचीत हो गया बिकॉज इस पे टाइम तो लगाना ही था, बिकॉज सीएसके हैव डन अ लॉट। रेटिंग्स, प्रोनीत सिद्धेश फिर में, ठीक है। प्रोनीत, आउट ऑफ 10 गिव सीएसके रेटिंग इन द ऑक्शन।
7.5।
10.5 सिद्धेश।
आई गिव थाला 7।
So 7. I'll give a 6. That goes on to the number you can see out of 30, and that is the rating of the auction. So this is the rating of the auction, and now we move on to the next team involved. Um, Delhi Capitals. The they're the street smart team when it comes to auction. They don't do much in the tournament. They don't really win tournaments. They haven't won one yet, but they are the most street smart players in the auction. We have, of course, our Mota bhai in the auction. वो क्या करते हैं उन लोग का, सबका प्राइस बढ़ा देते हैं। स्पेशली मैंने टीम का प्राइस बढ़ाया था वापस, मथीजा पथिराना का। तो बहुत गुस्सा हूं मैं उसके ऊपर, बट वी हैव टू गो ऑन टू स्क्वाड एंड गो टू द एनालिसिस पार्ट ऑफ इट। DC, uh, they have stole. They have stole a bit. They have stole a bit, and they have made some good buys. And starting off, पुनीत के साथ बात करता हूँ मैं। How do you feel DC squad looks like? मतलब you have Ben Duckett now, you have Dave Miller, you have seen that they have taken on overseas players, और वो लोग रखेंगे कि now they want to create a strong overseas contingent. उन लोगों का domestic से उनका trust उड़ गया है, वो देख सकते हैं हम लोग। तो how would you think about DC's strategy at the moment?
DC, मैंने this year, last year as the DC was stacked. This year also DC is stacked. This year DC is even better. This year DC is even better, and their auction has been excellent. I feel DC is like one of the teams that has had probably the perfect auction one could wish for, and you can see it in their team, in the lineup, in the probable 11 or 12, including the impact player. They have probably the strongest 12 apart from RCB or Punjab, because they are the finalist last years. So apart from them, if I consider somebody being a strong contender this year, it has to be Delhi Capitals. So their auction has been excellent. They have so many options in the top order. They have Ben Duckett, they have Pathum Nisanka, they have Tristan Stubbs. They have so many players out there, and they can the wicket keepers that they have got, most of them are top order wicket keepers. So even somebody with KL Rahul, or if they want to play KL Rahul in the middle order like last year, then they can use Prithvi Shaw with some foreign opener. So a lot of options is open for them. So they have a lot of good headache. They have a lot of good headache in them with them. So that is really a solid boost for Delhi Capital going into the 2026 season after such a great auction. So yes, a top auction for them.
Yeah, they have gotten, I think, David Miller a steel press. It was at the start of the auction. लग रहा था कि, in my opinion, लग रहा था कि no one has literally settled down है. सब लोग चाय वाय ले रहे थे, सब लोग पकौड़े वकौड़े लेके बैठने वाले थे. देख लिए कि Delhi has taken David Miller. It was that sudden of a buy, because it was honestly shocking. Me and Praneet just sat. I think Siddesh was also there. We three just sat to watch the auction. First person comes, David Miller. Okay, let's see. It's going to go for like 8-9 crores. Delhi buys him at base price. I have no idea why auctions have this kind of mindset कि will not take older players at all. Proneet's mindset, I agree with him. He is experienced players जो लोग फॉर्म में है उनको टीम में लेना चाहिए. David Miller is one of those players. So it's a big steal for Delhi, and they won't complain. They wanted David Miller, and they fit, and he fits right in the 11. We'll go on to the playing 11 now. KL Rahul, Pathum Nisanka और Ben Duckett, depends on left right combination है कि नहीं. Nitish Rana, traded from Rajasthan Royals. Tristan Stubbs, Akshar Patel, David Miller, Ashutosh Sharma, Vipraj Nigam. Then, of course, Mukesh Kumar or Abdul A. Nabi, who was the topmost wicket taker in Ranji Trophy. So that was also a very good buy for them. Then Kuldeep Yadav, Mitchell Stark, and T. Natarajan. This is a well balanced 11. I can say that much. Or now, but I can't go without criticisms. And I see a problem that can arise with Delhi Capitals, though. वहां मैं देख सकता हूं मैं. Siddesh, I'll go to you. You know Mitchell Stark's short stay in IPL. It's been 2-3 years. He has been in IPL, and बोल सकते हो कि clutch बंदा है. He has taken wickets, etc. But inconsistent है, and he's expensive. He has done well in the last auction, though. The one of the main reasons why DC have done well is that Mitchell Stark has been excellent in death overs. But he's an aging cricketer as well, and he hasn't played a lot of T20 cricket. He has retired from T20 cricket, so T20 cricket का backing भी नहीं है उसके पास. And you have T Natarajan, who is also playing domestic cricket. उसका भी ज्यादा experience नहीं है. वो अभी SMT खेल रहा है. Do you think कि pacing department का एक problem हो सकता है कि इनका vulnerable scenario है?
कुछ हद तक मैं अग्री करता हूँ ऑफ कोर्स. मिचेल स्टार्क एज कर रहा है डेथ ओवर्स में, बट ऑफ कोर्स वी कांट इग्नोर द फैक्ट दैट ही इज परफॉर्मिंग क्वाइट वेल इन द डेथ ओवर्स. टॉकिंग अबाउट नटराजन, उसका डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट का मतलब आई हैव नॉट दैट मच नॉलेज अबाउट हाउ ही हैज डन वेल इन डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट, बट वट एवर आई हैव हर्ड अबाउट इज दैट he is in a considerable position which allows DC to give a good chance for him in some matches. I think he's ought to play in some matches in DC, a considerable good amount of matches. So I must say, yeah, ये काफी well balanced team है, and I think it's working out well for DC. For this season, it's working out very well for DC.
Right. And मेरा बस वही प्रॉब्लम है कि ये पेसिंग डिपार्टमेंट ना, आई डोंट सी प्रॉपर बैकअप्स एज वेल, क्योंकि बैकअप में प्रोनीत, इफ यू सी एज वेल, दिस बैकअप में देयर इज मुकेश कुमार, हु इज दैट, मतलब उतना अच्छा मैं रैंक नहीं करता उसे एज अ T20 बॉलर. ही इज अ गुड स्विंग बॉलर, ही इज अ कंसिस्टेंट लाइन लेंथ बॉलर, but he's not that good of a backup. By chance, if Mitchell Stark doesn't do well, or T Natarajan doesn't do well, you don't have backups. That is one question. You don't have backups. You don't have overseas का pacing का backup भी ज्यादा नहीं है DC के पास. Like it's not that they'll have the best. Like you have Lungi Nigiri and Kyle Jamieson, but they're also expensive customers on their bad day. You don't have a reliable backup. Even Dushman the Chamira, you have them, but ये लोग neither they are too wicket taking, neither they are very economical as well as a backup like Mitchell Stark. So that is the main concern, right? वहां पे हो सकता है, and if they don't do well, Mitchell Stark has a huge responsibility on his hands. If he has to do well if DC go on to the playoffs, or else they can end up in fifth, sixth again. What do you think?
आई थिंक डीसी का प्रॉब्लम वही है कि मुकेश कुमार, अगर तुम देखो कि पेस बॉलिंग डिपार्टमेंट में, आई थिंक ही विल प्ले अहेड ऑफ नटराजन, बिकॉज नटराजन को वो लोग बैकअप की तरह रखते हैं। नटराजन को वो खिलाते नहीं, दे वोंट प्ले टू लेफ्ट आर्म पेसेस, आई डोंट थिंक सो। वो लोग नटराजन को खिलाते हैं नहीं। और दूसरी तरफ अगर ओवरसीज बैकअप की बात करोगे तो सब लोग मार खाने वाले हैं। एवरीबडी गोज एट एन इकोनॉमी ऑफ 9। सो
Right.
कुछ कुछ है नहीं उनके पास ज्यादा तो टू ऑफर इन द पेस बॉलिंग लाइनअप। आकिब नबी से मेरा एक्सपेक्टेशन है। आकिब नबी हैज बीन डूइंग रियली वेल इन द सैयद मुश्ताक अली एज वेल, द ऑनगोइंग सैयद मुश्ताक अली। सो आकिब नबी से मेरा बहुत हाई एक्सपेक्टेशंस है। ही वेंट फॉर 8.4 करोड़। सो उसके ऊपर भी एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है अलॉन्ग विथ मिचेल स्टार्क। सो या दिल्ली अगर अपना मेंटेन करेगी, वो लास्ट ईयर भी ऐसे पहला 5-6 मैचेस जीत के लास्ट में 5-6 मैचेस ऐसे हार गई मजे मजे में। सो यही होता रहता है उनके साथ। So if they are able to maintain their balance, maintain their form, then I think DC will have a decent IPL season, but they won't go to top two. They have a good enough team to go to top two, but I feel their bowling department will hold them back, and they can max to max finish at a number three, number four. That is it. Eliminator position.
Yeah, they'll fight for that position. I think there are quite a considerable amount of teams who will fight for that kind of position. I think Delhi has that kind of
Yeah,
lineup.
exactly.
They look very good for playoffs, but is it enough to win the IPL? That is the big question I have for them. So that is the pacing department needs to have an X factor involved. That has to be a consistent factor with all winning teams of IPL. मैं देखा हूँ pace bowling में X factor चाहिए, and Mitchell Stark has to bring that kind of X factor in to get DC to a good position. So that is a lot of responsibility on him to do well. Rating times. Um, Rating करते Delhi का how their auction went, not how the squad looks, how their auction went. Again, same order. Proneet start off, then Siddesh, then me.
Auction 8.5.
8.5 says Proneet.
No, I think it's 8.5. I'll go with Ronnie.
Yeah, I also agree. I'll go 8 because I think they could have gotten an Indian backup. They वहाँ पे आकिब नबी है, but और एक I think एक cushion होने से they would have been better. But still, 8. I think Delhi had a very good option to go with. So average is around 8, and final rating is in front of you. So let's go on to the next team, Gujarat Titans. I don't think we have a lot to speak on them actually because they haven't done a lot. They haven't done a lot in the auction. वो लोग they have been a quiet customer. Like just ऐसे ही रहे हैं as they have been looking for backup players etc. They have been quite quiet. वो लोग ज्यादा कुछ नहीं किए. उनके 11 अगर Predator 11 भी देखूं, they don't have a lot to change except for the fact that I think the only one buyer we can talk of is Jason Holder. I think that was a very good buy for Gujarat Titans क्योंकि he comes as a very probing bowler for T20s. If you haven't watched the West Indies versus Australia T20s, where West Indies was whacked out 3-0, Jason Holder was a key part in holding West Indies together in this fielding West Indies team. So that is a very good buy for Gujarat Titans. I think he can be a good bowler and a good customer with the bat as well in the middle order. So that is what I'm seeing. And also, I think one more buy, I think, which is noticeable is Tom Banton. He'll come as a backup only for Joss Butler in case he gets injured, that is an unfortunate scenario if that happens because Gujarat again I see they didn't have a lot of money to go off with the auction because top three को बस सारे पैसा लगा दे ये लोग. But ये लोग but see again I feel like their middle order is a big question mark. Let me go to the 11 now. Shubman Gill, Sai Sudarshan, Joss Butler, quite settled top three. Washington Sundar, Jason Holder, Shah Rukh Khan, Rahul Tewatia, Rashid Khan. You can change the batting order a bit. I'm not saying you can't. You can change the batting order a bit. Washington Sundar have kept a bit up because he deserves to play in the middle overs a bit. And then Sai Kishore, Kagiso Rabada, Prasidh Krishna, and impactor Mohammad Siraj. They have a very good bowling lineup. वहां पे मैं देख सकता हूँ कि प्रसिद्ध कृष्णा, कागिसो रबाडा, मोहम्मद सिराज, top bowling. Jason Holder also comes as your service. Then you have Sai Kishore and Rashid Khan as your spinners. Perfect bowling. They have very good bowling and have very good top three batting. Do you think, Proneet, is their middle order enough again? Do you feel like middle order this time chalega?
Yes, I do agree. I do agree that GT's middle order this year as well is very, very unstable. This is similar to what they had last year as well. And I don't think so. You can rely on Washington Sundar, Jason Holder, Shah Rukh Khan, and Rahul Tewatia, and Rashid Khan, if you can count it. So I don't think so. These five can make a proper, solid middle order win a championship. Last year, RCB and Punjab, they were the finalists. They had probably the best middle order in the whole tournament. So that won the matches. So I think middle order is very important, and GT are clearly lacking in that area. GT are clearly lacking in that area. And this auction, they could have done better if they could have shopped for a proper middle order batter. Because after you cannot and
Uh,
playing
I think Prohit has some net problems, but I think his main point was
in the
कि his middle order का problem वही
so
हुआ
I
था
think
कि he had this kind of issue कि वहां पे middle order के साथ कैसे खेले, कैसे हम लोग how will that work out for GT? They didn't do well at the auction. I think Proneet is back right now. Proneet, you can talk about कि middle order. You can continue on your point about what your middle order thought process was. Okay, छोड़ो.
I'm really sorry. My internet got cut off
Uh,
again. I think this is nothing new.
nothing
Uh,
new.
this is
If
nothing
Vedant is
new.
watching,
This is nothing new. So
if Vedant is watching, please do DM. उसका थोड़ा सा fix करने का सुझाव दो. But yes,
comment.
comment.
अब
But देखो,
हाँ वही
continue,
वही तो
continue,
मैं
continue.
मैं यही बोल रहा था कि मैं यही बोल रहा था कि वॉशिंगटन सुंदर को ऊपर नीचे के जेकर को ऊपर नीचे खान तेवातियों को इतना इन चारों में सिर्फ ऊपर नीचे ही होगा यू कैनॉट हैव अ स्टेबल मिडिल ऑर्डर सो दैट इज इट
Yeah. Same with I'm going to get Gigi again for you, Puneet. I always am reminded of Gigi for you. Washington Sundar is being treated the same in Indian lineup as well. So यहाँ पे भी GT is going to get the same treatment. That is what I'm saying with GT यहाँ पे. क्योंकि I was very surprised. I was very surprised actually कि GT didn't go hard on David Miller. I thought they'll give some bits, but like I think they'll at least go half of their remaining purse for David Miller because if David Miller was in their lineup, this looks like a way more better, a very strong lineup actually. David Miller has that kind of ability to do so. वहां पे क्यों नहीं लिया डेविड मिलर को? I am still confused. They are trusting on Jason Holder as an all-rounder, but I feel like David Miller as a pure batter could have done wonders for GT. GT का मिडिल ऑर्डर में उसको चाहिए था, वो स्टेबिलिटी चाहिए था, पर नहीं लिए वो लोग. तो it's a big miss, and they have done some other shopping of local players, but yeah, it still is a big problem. And I don't think this time they'll go on to the playoffs because they don't have the same luck at this every time. They won't have, I don't think all three batters will fire yet again. Again, if they fire, then they of course have the chance, but their bowling will do the carry job and their top three will do the carry job yet again. So वो same form दिखने को मिलना is very tough, and I honestly feel like their playoff chances are way more shallow because I see way better teams in the lineup, especially the next team that is coming up. So yeah, GT is not going to have an easy time. I think they'll end up in the bottom four as well, sixth position or seventh position. Only way I can see them getting to fifth is I think their bowling lineup doing well. Bowling lineup is very strong for them. So वहाँ पे if they'll perform, but batting तो चाहिए. Batting if they don't have that, nothing we can do. So yeah, we are done with GT, but we'll have to do our ratings. A lot of hitchkeys by Proneet, but Proneet will start again with our ratings. Proneet, Siddesh, then me. Proneet, go ahead. Rating. GT's auction.
8.
8. Rate this high. Surprising. Siddesh.
6, 6.
6. I'll go with 5. I didn't like GT's play. I feel like GT were too passive in their play. So that is the average point. Plus करके देख लो कितना आ रहा out of 30. That is our rating for GT's auction. We'll go on to the next team, and this team has we has butterflies on my stomach. KKR. This team has तो क्या शॉपिंग किया है भाई, मतलब जितना पैसे थे सब वसूल जितने पैसे थे सब जो चाहते थे वो ले लिए. They didn't care about the price point. I think they wanted Pathirana, they wanted Cameron Green, they want Mustafizur Rahman, they got it. जितना भी प्राइस लगे लग जाए, जितना रिमेनिंग पैसे वहां से अमेंस हो जाएगा. They wanted these three players and they got it. And now what an 11 they have. They have such a strong squad, and I was afraid before the auction that they'll leak money on just one player and then KKR will have a kind of a hole. But Abhishek Nair proved us wrong yet again. He's such a stable mindset, and he has done excellent in the auction to create a wonderful squad for KKR. I feel it's a too perfect of a squad to let go of, in my opinion. क्योंकि इतना अच्छा स्क्वाड बना है. I think they'll it's so many players are involved here. KKR will also have a good problem. मैं देख पा रहा हूँ कि उनका लाइनअप में मथीशा पथिराना, मुस्ताफिजुर रहमान. I talked with Proneet early on कि मथीशा पथिराना was in the KKR 11. What do you think? He said कि मथीशा पथिराना का फॉर्म अच्छा नहीं है. It's a erratic bowler. थोड़ा सा inaccurate जा सकते हैं इसका फॉर्म. If it's not his day, he can go for plenty. That is there. KKR but Mustafizur Rahman. If Pathirana doesn't do well, you have someone like Mustafizur. That is, I think this is excellent. I start with Siddesh. What do you think of KKR's lineup? Did they spoil CSK's plan?
टू बी क्वाइट फ्रैंक विथ यू, मुझे लगता है कि काफी सारे सीएसके प्यार में ही चले गए।
डीजे ब्रावो का इफेक्ट होगा शायद
और
से.
और काफी अच्छा डील केकेआर ने यहाँ क्लोज किया है। इवन दो पथिराना को आपने 18 करोड़ में लिया, लेकिन आई थिंक इट्स वर्थ इट। आई थिंक मतलब पथिराना आई थिंक विल डिलीवर दैट थिंग विच ही हैज टू डिलीवर इन केकेआर। जो सीएसके में उसने किया था पिछले 2 सीजन पहले, पिछले सीजन शायद से डिडंट वर्क आउट क्वाइट वेल, बट आई थिंक केकेआर कैन मेक अ गुड यूज ऑफ हिम। कमिंग बैक टू मुस्तफिजुर रहमान, अगेन द सेम थिंग, मतलब नो क्वेश्चंस आस्क्ड। वो अगर महेश पथिराना आपके लिए 1-2 मैचेस के लिए नहीं टिक रहा है, आप रहमान को आप ले सकते हैं। वो टिक जाएगा, वो स्टेबल है। साथ ही साथ आपको रचिन रविंद्रा मिल गया है। आई डोंट थिंक ही विल प्लेइंग इन द 11, ऑफ कोर्स नॉट, बट ही इज अ वेरी गुड ओपनर। सो इफ यू वांट टू एक्ट एज अ सब्स्टिट्यूट, आई थिंक रचिन रविंद्रा कैन बी अ वेरी गुड ऑप्शन फॉर केकेआर। कमिंग बैक टू स्पिनर्स, एज ऑलवेज फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी इज वरुण चक्रवर्ती। क्या बोलूं मैं। uh, और
उसको तो
बाकी सब
सेटल
तो
है पूरा.
सबसे हाईएस्ट परचेज अगेन केकेआर ने ही लिया है। आई थिंक इट वाज 24.75,
No,
नो
no,
ट्वेंटी फोर पॉइंट
25 crore. That was Mitchell Stark. That was 2 years
25.
ago, Siddesh.
25.
That was 2 years
ओहो,
ago.
Mitchell
अच्छा,
Stark.
इस बार कितना हुआ?
But I mean,
अच्छा, हाँ
25.2,
हाँ
25.2,
It's up
25.2. But
25.
हाँ,
25.2.
ओहो,
तो
बहुत
बहुत
बढ़ा
पैसे
दिया
तो
है।
लिए हैं यार. पैसे
अरे
तक
रे,
की कमी तो नहीं है. हमें 1 करोड़ दे दे तो
अब
भाई बहुत
पर्स,
हो जाता, पर
भाई
अरे
ठीक है.
इतना
अगर
इतना पैसे थोड़ा
अरे
डिले तो करने ही
जस्ट
चाहिए।
जस्ट फॉर
हाँ
द
हाँ.
व्यूअर्स, just
बोलो
for the
बोलो.
viewers, Cameron Green, the next day he was sold to KKR. He scored a two-ball duck in the Ashes.
ठीक है
So
सर सर
yeah.
सर वो टेस्ट क्रिकेट है. इट्स वेरी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम टी20 क्रिकेट. टेस्ट क्रिकेट को छोड़ दो. एशेज इज वेरी डिफरेंट. वो ऑस्ट्रेलिया साइड में हो रहा है. वे डिफरेंट, वे कंप्लीटली ऑपोजिट काइंड ऑफ सिनेरियोज इन कंडीशंस एंड फॉर्मेट वाइज. सो प्लीज डोंट कर्स. बट सी अगेन द सेम पॉइंट. आई थिंक व्हाट आई विल टॉक अबाउट इज KKR का. I think all said and done, KKR have a very balanced squad. They have done very well and they are very well set to go to playoffs. In the paper, their team is like that. They can go to top two if they do that well. Like how I can see in paper, if they execute that well, they can go to top two. The now I'll go to the criticism part of it. I think with such a good squad comes its backdrops. Like थोड़ा सा problem हो सकता है. The set of कितने बहुत सारे combinations है KKR के पास. Who will be the four overseas players KKR will take? Because KKR have a lot of good overseas players to play with. Four overseas players. You talk about Rofman Power, you talk about Mustafizur Rahman, you talk about Matisha Pathirana, you talk about Cameron Green, you talk about Sunil Narayan, you have Finn Allen, you have Tim Seifert. Who will you play? Which four will play? And around that only the 11 will be made. Domestic circle is very tight for KKR. It's very fine and they can adjust which four will play and which four will succeed. Because KKR can go into a rut
काफी अच्छा है।
कि हाँ बहुत अच्छा है टीम, पर द थिंग इज कि इतना रट में जा सकता है कि यार इतना सारा कॉम्बिनेशन है उसमें कंफ्यूज होके दे कैन गो इनटू अ चॉपिंग एंड चेंज काइंड ऑफ सिनेरियो एंड देन केकेआर कैन गो ऑन अ डाउनफॉल क्योंकि स्टेबिलिटी नहीं होगा. They need to stick to a level and they want to make only 1-2 changes at max in the first 5-6 matches. नहीं तो दिस कैन बी अ प्रॉब्लम. सो लेटर ऑन इट्स स्टिल अ लॉन्ग टाइम फ्रॉम ऑक्शन. आई बिलीव 3 months है. वहां पे लास्ट में जाके चेंज कर लो वहां पे, डिसाइड करो 11, ये 11-12 के साथ खेलेंगे, देन 4-5 मैचेस के बाद देखेंगे किसका अच्छा नहीं चल रहा है, उसमें रिप्लेस कर देंगे. वी हैव दैट काइंड ऑफ बैकअप, दैट काइंड ऑफ स्टेबिलिटी. Puneet will go to the 11, but I have a question for you regarding KKR's lineup. You have seen that Finn Allen has come. He's an ex-RCB, and you know that he has been a part of RCB's infrastructure. You have seen that key middle order. There's Rohman Powell as well. You have good Indian domestic lineup as well. The question comes is ki if Rohman Powell doesn't play, KKR will have to depend on their domestic order for the middle order, and Manish Pandey or Rahul Tripathi has to play. Do you feel like that's a weak point, or do you feel like ki, nahi, these are good enough players, they can go on with them? Because Rahul Tripathi hasn't been performing. वो एक है, he hasn't been performing. CSK का हम लोग का one of the main reasons for CSK is not doing well was Rahul Tripathi form. And Manish Pandey is an experienced campaigner, but he's not as in his prime anymore. तो क्या question क्या हो सकता है उसके पीछे?
I think the problem here is like if you retain Rovman Powell, then why did you buy so many overseas players that you can't fit him in the 11? So that is the question there. So why did you retain him at the end of the day? So it looks like a waste retention, but I don't think so, because if you use Manish Pandey there, if you use Manish Pandey, if you give me to choose between Manish Pandey, a washed Manish Pandey, and a Rahul Tripathi at this point of time, I will choose Manish Pandey. So you have to go with Manish Pandey at this point, because Rinku Singh, if Rinku Singh bats at number 5, I think that is good enough for him, because I think somehow he will get some time, because he sometimes needs some time to settle. So he will not require to come in and bash those sixes straight away. So I think he will
Right.
get some time. And then Ramandeep has been doing the job of hitting sixes right from ball one. So I think Ramandeep there, and I can see Sunil Narine might play in the middle order. So Ramandeep,
Ma-
Sunil Narine, and then the
That
great
was going to be
Harshit
my
Rana.
question
So
for you
I
as well.
think the
Yeah.
finishing is very weak, is looking very weak, I would say. That
Yeah.
part is looking very weak.
Huh, because see, if Rovman Power plays, the finishing role gets overpowered. That is there. But then you can't play Phil Allen or Tim Seifert in the opening. So that is the main question there.
Exactly.
Where does Sunil Narine play? That is, I think, one of the main questions KKR have to answer. Because if Sunil Narine will play as a floater role, in the opening part, वो bat चलाएगा, middle part आने से भी bat चलाएगा वो. उसका, he has only one answer to the ball. So will KKR use him as an opener? Siddesh, I want your opinion here as well. Will KKR better of using him as an opener कि शुरू में start करो जितना रन आए फिर out हो गया तो out हो गया, we have batters behind you, or he comes in the 7th, 8th over, be it any down, 3-4 down or 5th down, depending on KKR's score and KKR's wickets. He comes in the 7th, 8th overs when spinners are bowling, and he tries to take on all the spinners, because we have seen that his stats are way better off with spinners rather than pacers. So, Siddesh, what do you think? Where should Sunil Narine play?
नो डेफिनेटली नॉट एज अ ओपनर, आई थिंक सो. क्योंकि
हाँ,
पहली बात तो आपके पास एक अच्छी टीम है. काफी सारे अच्छे बल्लेबाज हैं आपके पास ओपनर्स की तरफ, जो काफी ऐड कर सकते हैं आपका रन एज पोटेंशियल्स ऑल्सो. और साथ ही साथ ऑल्सो विथ ट्रिकलिंग डाउन द बॉल, कि बॉल को और पुराना कर रहे हैं आप. और साथ ही साथ आप जितना हो सके आप मतलब एटलीस्ट अगर आप पहले 6 ओवर्स में पावर प्ले में रन बनाने का भी चांस है, आप खुद को डिफेंड भी कर सकते हैं, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. अगर आप बीच में अगर आपका विकेट्स बच रहा है तो आप बाद में जाके रन भी बना सकते हैं, तो वो केस भी नहीं है. समझे बाई चांस अगर छठे ओवर में इनका पहला या दूसरा विकेट गिरता है केकेआर का, जो कि गिरना बहुत टफ लग रहा है क्योंकि काफी टफ बैट्समैन है, तो अगर गिरता है तो तब आई थिंक नरीन को बुलाना चाहिए. क्योंकि हाँ, जैसा अग्नि ने कहा है कि अगेंस्ट द स्पिनर्स ही इज प्रीटी वेरी, मतलब वेरी गुड एक्चुअली. मींस नो वर्ड्स टू डिस्क्राइब हिम. और especially and if you're and especially when he gets in that action mode of hitting the spinners where and now, means just he will just shock the spinners. मतलब अगर वो
हाँ,
आएगा खेलना शुरू करेगा वो, मतलब स्पिनर्स अपने आप ही पहले या दूसरे ओवर में ही वो उसका कॉन्फिडेंस
हार
लेवल
मान
डाउन हो
जाएंगे.
जाएगा. और उस वो हाँ लिटरली हार मारने का काफी अच्छा चांस है स्पिनर अगे, अनलेस एंड until the spinner is
Yeah, too good
himself
to
that
mention.
he will टू गुड, टू गुड टू
Yeah,
एक्सपीरियंस. तो काफी टफ है. और उसके बाद से सुनील नारायण के टेक द मैच टिल द एंड, नो डाउट
yeah.
अबाउट इट. बट he should definitely not go as an opener, because it would be a pity to lose him against the fast bowlers.
Yeah,
during the
excellent
power
point.
play.
Excellent point क्योंकि you need a stability in the opening position. Last time openers में केकेआर को 50 का पार्टनरशिप एक भी नहीं आया था. If you see, so you need stability in that kind of position. तो someone like Cameron Green and Rahane can open, or Tim Seifert or Phil Allen वहां से लेना पड़ेगा, because if Tim Seifert doesn't play, Raghuvanshi has to keep, and Raghuvanshi is not too
Mhm.
established as a keeper as we know. तो
Not
वहां से that is a good question. And plus KKR would want a Phil Sort kind of replacement with Phil Allen or Tim Seifert, who recently had a century in the BBL. So
Mhm.
वो this is a head scratch. Good problem. Any team is good, but which is the best one? कौन सा ज्यादा execute होगा? That is the main question I have with KKR, and that all revolves around with the overseas. Sunil Narine, where does he play, and where does the overseas play? My 11 doesn't consist of Robin Powell. You see Tim Seifert, Ajinkya Rahane, Cameron Green, first three players. Then Ankush Raghuvanshi, Manish Pandey or Rahul Tripathi, Rinku Singh, Ramandeep Singh. Then Sunil Narine. Sunil Narine I've kept at number 8, but he can come slot in anywhere around the 7th, 8th over. I have kept him as a floater. He can come in as a hitter and hit. Then Harshit Rana. Then you have the option of Weber Arora or Umran Malik. Either of them. I think people don't take account of the fact that Umran Malik is there. वहां you have people haven't been talking about him at all. Umran Malik being in the 11. I don't think ESPN has been commenting, Big Boss hasn't been commenting, but I feel like Umran can make a big impact. वो रिटर्न किया है, एक रीजन के लिए रिटर्न किया है, अंडर द रेडर जा रहा है वो, तो पीपल आर नॉट टेकिंग हिम इनटू अकाउंट. सो इमरान मलिक इज अ
तो सरप्राइज
बिग
मिलेगा।
surprise. I think he'll be a surprise player in the 11. I feel like he can be there. Then you play either Mathisa Pathirana or Mustafizur Rahman, depends on the day. If that is completely dependent. You can choose whoever you want. I don't think you need to look at the prize money for it. Prize money के ऊपर देखने से I don't think 11 बनेगा. You just look at the players. Players are the same. Price can be different any auction. So you can look at the Venkatesh share only. Last year 24 crore गया, this time 7 crore. It depends on the scenario. So यहाँ पे don't look at the price, look at the players. So either Matisha Pathirana or Mustafizur Rahman, depending on them completely. Either way is fine. And then of course number one T20 Iran bowler in the world, Varun Chakravarti. Excellent side, definite contention for top two, and amazing kind of lineup they have. So that is what our thought process is. Rating time. Proneet, start off your rating, and Siddesh, then me, as we have been doing.
I will give them a 9 because I feel they spent too much on a few players and they bought too many overseas. So that is where I think they created too many problems for themselves. Good problems, but yeah, problem. So yeah,
Problem to
9,
have now.
a solid 9.
Siddesh,
I think an 8.5 would be good for this team, and how the auction has
8.5.
went well with the good amount of money they had in their purse. On top of that, getting Cameron Green higher than Mitchell Stark. I hope it proves not like Mitchell Stark as it did, but let's see.
Let's see if Cameron Green has to be consistent. वो तो है. Cameron Green can also bowl
Hmm.
2 overs. So KKR have a lot of versatility in their
हाँ,
bowling. If they get into trouble,
वो है।
KKR have any way to get out. Like they have plenty of options. And my rating will be 9 as well. They have done well, but that overseas options has, I think that can loop around their head. And if they don't do that, if they don't choose wisely, they can go into a problem. So that they have to do well. If they do that well, they are in
Mhm.
contention for the final. That is what I'm thinking about. Now,
Got it. Cool.
last but not the least, LSG. They have been very busy in the auction. I must say they have been paddling around. We had 20 crores to play with. I want Pronit your rating on LSG. They have been busy, but they haven't got the players that they wanted. What do you think about their squad?
Only one line, that is a bowling 11. So that is what LSG have. Bowling 11. They will play 12 pacers. They will play 12 pacers. They don't need any batsmen. So yeah, they say bowlers win you tournaments. So LSG took it too literally. So yeah, they are going to play with 12 bowlers. And I think the batting, on a serious note, the batting, I think there is the top four is like stacked. Top four, top five is stacked. Like they have Aiden Markram, they have Mitchell Marsh opening, Nicholas Puran, Rishabh Pant. If Rishabh Pant does really well, which he did not last season, so if he does really well, or at least he gets a 300 to 400 run season,
Yeah.
a 400 run season, if Rishabh Pant gets in the middle order, then I feel that will be good enough for LSG. And then they have Ayush Badoni, Abdul Samad, and Shahbaz Ahmed as in the finishing lineup. So I think
Exactly.
the batting. I think sometimes you might wonder that Ayush Badoni, Abdul Samad, and Shahbaz Ahmed, will they be able to give you that kind of a finish that you always want? Because last time Abdul Samad gave some had some good cameos out there, but then you have Shahbaz Ahmed and Ayush Badoni who are not always that much consistent. So yeah, that is a bit of a problem in the batting lineup in the middle order for LSG. Their bowling lineup looks good enough, I would say, but yeah, lack of experience as well. A lot of lack of experience there in the pace bowling lineup.
Yeah. Um, I feel like this is almost a replica of what GT did last year. Stacked top four, star-studded top four. The bowling is good, but they are still lacking. Their bowling lineup doesn't look complete. I can say they have bought a lot of bowlers, but still doesn't look complete. I will say सिद्धेश के साथ में जाऊंगा मैं कि चार पर बैटिंग है. लेट मी गो टू द 11 itself. The 11 is Mitchell Marsh, Aidan Markram, Nicholas Puran, Rishabh Pant as captain and wicketkeeper, Ayush Badoni, Abdul Samad, Shahbaz Ahmed, Vanindo Hasaranga, goodbye by the way, Avesh Khan, Mohammad Shami, Mayank Yadav or Mohsin Khan, depending on who is injured. They have an injury-prone pacing side, so it depends on who is injured, who is not. Get that kind of person in, and then Digvesh Rathi, number 12. Proneet, you have a point with your finger up.
Arjun Tendulkar, you are missing out on him.
Oh,
I think he's a player to watch out for.
Yeah, he was
honestly,
traded. Come on.
let me be very serious. If Mayank Yadav and Mohsin Khan both are injured, if both get to be injured, Arjun Tendulkar can slot right in. He can have his opportunity there, and it looks quite
Mark your
favorable as well.
calendars. Mark your calendars. LSG versus MI.
That will be a sight to watch if Arjun Tendulkar gets to play there. But
Sachin be like whom to support.
वो तो हो सकता है. But yeah, see, this is an 11. I feel like this is the weakest 11 that I can see in the whole of Tata IPL. That is my honest opinion. Their middle order is full of local players who haven't proved themselves. Siddesh,
Hmm.
you know a bit about middle orders who haven't proved themselves last season. You have seen that CSK have ended up bottom last season.
Music.
Think about their LSG's middle order. What do you like? What was the thought process behind it? Because I simply don't understand it.
इसके अंदर मैं क्या बोलूं, सही में आपने सही बात बोली है, 11 जन की बॉलिंग लाइनअप है यार, इसके अंदर मिडिल ओवर ढूंढना ही मुश्किल है। किसको
हाँ,
आप लेके आएंगे, किसको आप नहीं लेके आएंगे, बहुत बहुत मुश्किल है आपको। मतलब बॉलर से आप ये बोल रहे कि आप भी आप बॉलिंग छोड़िए और बल्लेबाजी स्टार्ट करिए
हाँ. तो
प्रैक्टिस सेशन में।
वही करना पड़ेगा
वो
बिकॉज
वो वही कर रहे हैं
हाँ,
मतलब। और आप अगर आप एक्सपेक्ट करें कि एलएसजी इस बार कुछ आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स कुछ करे, तो आई थिंक इट शुड बी स्पेयर्ड बाय द कैप्टन हिमसेल्फ ऋषभ पंत, which was very much inconsistent in the prior season. I think he needs to get back in his 2018 form.
how
If he
if
if he
he
has to
jumps around
if
and
he
plays
has to
like
make a
that.
if he has to get a mark in this team, because LSG is new to him, under a new you know who.
Setup.
So if you want
Going Kasam.
if he want if he wants to if he wants to make a mark in this team and as well as in this IPL, so he needs to get back into his 2018 form, if at least not 2018 form, something near to that. If
Yeah,
and it has to be spearheaded by Rishabh Pant. Means nobody else can give uh, nobody. I cannot think of anybody else spearheading that opportunity. I think you forgot Bretsky. Is Bretsky?
Bretsky doesn't get to play because top three is overseas only. You need to play Hasaranga as well, no? Because Hasaranga cannot go. He's too good to miss out. So Bretsky doesn't fit in. You have Aiden Markram, Mitchell
That's true.
Marsh and
Yeah.
Nicholas Puran. Top three right there. Top three
Hmm.
overseas player. You go in with LSE thinking
True.
that they have an overseas 11 rather than a domestic 11. That is what they look like because three teams जनी overseas में top three में बैठ गए. Now you have one more overseas
Mhm.
player left. Do you want to put Matthew Bretsky in, or do you want to post? I think one of the only spinners they have, except Divyesh Rathi, as Varinda Hasaranga. I will put Varinda Hasaranga because he can contribute a bit with the bat. Plus, bowling is more important than batting. That's what I see.
मतलब एकदम इस
But
बार
it
पूरा काया पलट हुआ है केकेआर के बजाय। अगर आप देखेंगे
हाँ
केकेआर में ऑप्शन था कि आप एक को छोड़ के दूसरे पे जाइए, यहाँ तो आप एक को छोड़ेंगे तो आप किसके पास जाएंगे, कोई गारंटी नहीं है, और ज्यादातर
गारंटी
तो आप
नहीं
जो
है।
बोल रहे हैं इंजर्ड है।
हाँ
हाँ,
बैकअप में भी कोई नहीं
तो
है।
बहुत।
बैकअप में भी किसको रखोगे? अर्जुन तेंदुलकर एज ए बैकअप, कम ऑन। केकेआर एटलीस्ट हैव
एग्जैक्टली।
आकाशदीप एज ए बैकअप। मतलब अगर कोई भी अच्छा नहीं करे, आकाशदीप आ जाएगा। डोमेस्टिक में अच्छा किया, ईडन गार्डन्स में अच्छा करेगा, वो ही नोज द पिच। यहाँ पे तो कौन? अर्जुन तेंदुलकर इज एन इनएक्सपीरियंस्ड गाय। तो या आई डोंट सी, आई थिंक एलएसजी आर गोइंग टू बॉटम टू, दैट इज व्हाट माय
गलत
स्टेज
तेंदुलकर को
प्रेडिक्शन
ले लिया।
है। But yeah, I don't think they're going anywhere near the playoffs. It'll be a huge, huge,
हाँ
huge
ना।
surprise to me if they go 5 or 6. That will be a mind-boggling thing because the 11 doesn't suggest so. They need to get a massive change in the team atmosphere, saying कि 1983 में बोलेंगे कि we are here to win, नहीं तो नहीं होगा। तो वो नहीं होगा। Like that process won't
होना
happen.
नहीं होना।
तो बॉटम टू की तरफ ही देख रहा है ये टीम। दे आर लुकिंग डाउन द बैरल। देयर ऑक्शन वेंट प्रीटी बैड। They they couldn't get the difference is that they couldn't get the players they wanted. It's not like they didn't go for the players they wanted. They wanted a lot of players, but they couldn't get the players for them wanted because of the purse. I think what the mistake only, I think what put LSG at the back foot only was the retention. They retained too many players for that too much of price. They didn't have a lot of money to work with.
I could also
It's,
add one more point. Rishabh Pant being so inconsistent in the prior prior season,
yeah.
LSG could have let him go and again retained him at a much lower price, which could have provided him the good amount of money in the purse
That is a risk.
to
That is that is a
see,
risk
that's
क्योंकि
debatable and it's
हाँ,
also risky.
it's a
But I
debatable point
think
for sure,
LSG did
for
had a
sure.
chance here,
हाँ,
but it
it's
had a
all
very
in
good
perspective.
opportunity here.
हाँ, it's a all in
हाँ
perspective
वो बात,
क्योंकि हाँ, क्योंकि क्या हो
क्योंकि
सकता था, क्या नहीं हो सकता था।
क्योंकि दिल्ली ऋषभ को वापस नहीं लेती, क्योंकि केएल
पैसा
को
तो नहीं
बैठा के
होता
रख
उनके
चुकी है,
पास।
तो
हाँ
हाँ नहीं होता। और इस बार सीएसके भी नहीं आता बीच में लेने के लिए, क्योंकि
हाँ
संजू सैमसन को ले चुका है। तो बहुत अच्छी
एग्जैक्टली।
स्ट्रैटेजी थी अगर एलएसजी चाहती थी तो।
LSG
इट्स
in
जस्ट
prospect, they weren't brave enough to let go of many of their players and play with a bigger purse. I think that was their thought process. I think they were playing safe, and they have played too safe, and now they don't have a very probing 11. I don't see them having that X factor in them, especially in the middle order. So
नो।
that is what the prediction is. Bottom two is what my thought process is. Let's get on to the predictions before we end the video. Proneet, Siddesh, me last prediction for the video. Proneet, go on. Four. Four is Pro's prediction. Siddesh. Four itself. I'll give them a three. I think they had a pretty terrible time in the auction. That's what I'll say. Three. I'll be a big streak for them. Last words before we end the video. Proneet, in these five teams, which team you feel had the best outing, like best outing in the auction? Is it DC or KKR?
I think it's KKR easy. It's easy to say it's KKR because DC still are looking like a side that will finish on fifth or sixth. That will fight for third, fourth. But yeah, KKR easily they are going to straight away go for the top two positions. They are like that. So yeah, great
Siddesh, we got
team,
a
great
tougher
auction.
question though. Siddesh, we got a tougher question though. Who did the worst? Who did the worst?
तो सीएसके did made some very tough choices. I think so. Those choices can't be questioned. Those choices have to be questioned for sure after the season is over. But yeah, who made the worst? I think GT could have improved.
GT could have. So you thought GT had the
GT
worst
could have
option.
improved.
Fair fair point. Fair point.
I
The
think so.
kind of squad that they had, they could have done better, but they stood in the same spot.
एलएसजी, मैं तो सोच रहा था कि मैं एलएसजी को बोलूंगा, लेकिन यार ये जीटीआई मतलब थोड़े से अभी देख के लग रहा है कि नहीं और खराब हुई है। अगर चाहता
हाँ
था तो
एलएसजी
काफी
एलएसजी
सिचुएशन बढ़ा सकते
एलएसजी
थे।
रेटिंग के बाहर है। एलएसजी
हाँ
रेटिंग के ही बाहर है, इतना खराब है।
नहीं नहीं सी
वही बात
LSG
वही
ना
बोल रहा
सी
हूँ
at
कि
least I'll say to defend Siddesh's point, LSG at least tried. They were busy. They tried for players. They tried for a lot of players. They tried for Matisha Pathirana. They tried for batsmen as well. डेविड मिलर को क्यों नहीं लिया पता नहीं। आई थिंक कुछ ज्यादा ही पैसा हो गया। दे डिडंट नीड डेविड मिलर दैट, खैर वो तो चाहिए चाहिए नहीं था। बट वो वहां पे नहीं था। सो एलएसजी ट्राइड एटलीस्ट। जीटी डिडंट ट्राई। दे वर सो इनएक्टिव। आई वाज सरप्राइज्ड दे वर इनएक्टिव एज, मतलब बहुत इनएक्टिव थे। सो आई थिंक दैट्स व्हाई जीटी
बल्कि जब
डिजर्व्स।
बल्कि आपको पता है कि आप पिछले जो टॉप टॉप फोर में जो आप गए हैं, वो बदौलत अपने पहले तीन बल्लेबाज से ही गए हैं।
या
शुभमन ओपन कर रहा है, वो साई सुदर्शन ओपन कर रहा है, एक डाउन में जॉस बटलर आ रहा है, वो मार के चला जा रहा है, टीम खत्म हो रही है। मतलब
यार डेविड मिलर
अगर
को
आप
कोई नहीं,
स्टार्टिंग में
मतलब।
बैटिंग भी ले रहे तो।
हाँ हाँ, वही वही वही। एक्सलेंट एक्सलेंटली सेड। So wrapping it
ये
up,
ठीक
thank
है
you,
सर।
Siddesh, for
चलिए,
joining me. It was a pleasure
थैंक
having
यू
you
सो
here.
मच।
Your points were excellent, by the way. This was the first time I was talking to you cricket to cricket. मतलब पूरा cricket बात कर रहे हैं हम लोग एक साथ. We don't really usually talk about cricket. We are more informal that way. So
ना
thank
ना,
you for joining. You have
आप दोनों ही को फाउंडर्स है, आप लोग ही अच्छा बात करिए।
नहीं नहीं, आप बहुत अच्छा बात किया. I think Prohit will agree with me as well. I think you've put up some very good points, and I was quite impressed as well.
हाँ हाँ,
Yeah.
एकदम
So
एकदम, मुझे लगा सिद्धेश आके आरसीबी को बकना चालू कर देगा, लेकिन उससे नहीं किया। तो आई एम रियली हैप्पी
दूसरे
विद
वीडियो
हिम।
में मैं
सो या
एक सोलो वीडियो बना देंगे, सिद्धेश सिद्धेश. एक डील करते हैं, एक सोलो वीडियो बना देते हैं, सिर्फ आरसीबी को बाकी है, ठीक है? बस तू
चल,
बोलना, मैं बैठूंगा,
डन
ठीक है? बट सी
डन डन, मैं
थैंक
इसके ऊपर और एक चैनल बना दूंगा।
ENC CNE ENC, ठीक है? जीजी को क्रिटिसाइज नहीं, जीजी को अपहोल्ड, आरसीबी को डाउनफोल्ड फिर करेंगे. बट but thank you, Siddesh, for joining us.
चलो,
We hope to see you in a lot more
थैंक यू
videos as
थैंक
well,
यू
rather than
थैंक यू
this
अग्नि,
one.
थैंक यू शुभम,
हाँ.
थैंक यू प्रोनीत।
शुभ नहीं है अभी तक. But thank you, Proneet, as well. You are my regular customer, and we'll meet you in the next video. Till then, bye bye and good night from us. Sabba
डू
khyal.
सब्सक्राइब टू इस चैनल, थैंक यू।